I saw the student loan hit 30,000, and at that point, I realized I need to sit back and really think about what I want out of life, what I want to achieve, and what direction I want to go before I stack up another $30,000, $40,000 in student loan debt. I'm Jerone Gillespie. I'm 23 years old. I live in Baltimore, Maryland, and I make $25,000 a year. So I'm a manager of a tax office, and also I do Uber and Lyft. This year, since I was only doing pretty much taxes, that kind of lowered my income because, believe it or not, I actually make more money doing Uber and Lyft a lot of the times than when I do doing taxes. The tax season got extended, so I was doing that more often, but I really like doing taxes though because it gives me more knowledge or, human capital, so to speak. So that can actually help me in my future more than probably, doing Uber and Lyft can. Seeing an eviction notice or like getting the lights or electric turned off, it didn't really bother me because I knew that they were going to be coming back on sometime soon. But to me, I felt like those were just things that happened every once in a while. Perhaps maybe that was the reason why ever since I was a little kid, I was extremely frugal and tight with my money. It's a nice town, has a nice scenery, but the people in that area were very, very racist growing up. It did definitely hurt my confidence as a person. When you're raised there for so long, you start to think that that's kind of just how the everyone is. And I realized that that's not really the case, and that I slowly but surely over time regained that confidence that was lost from being there. I was living with my girlfriend at the time, and her roommate didn't want me there. So to keep the peace, I really had nowhere else to go because I was waiting to move in with my brother. I had to sleep in my 1993 Firebird Pontiac, and it was very small. The window was broke, so it kind of started getting cold in August and September. I was going to class, I was working in the afternoons, and I was sleeping in my car at night. At the end of the day, it gave me a wonderful opportunity to save money. Another thing I did to save money was I started eating once a day. So first I did this just to save money because I just didn't have a lot of money coming in, and I was spending money on books and stuff like that. And I wanted to save money up so I can get my own apartment, get out the living room. But what I did with that money that I saved on food is I started investing in stocks and ETFs and stuff like that. So that money started to grow. So I wasn't just holding on to that money, but I was growing that money. And eventually I used that money that was growing to pay down debt and other stuff like that. I don't really consider myself as a budgeter. I don't really budget. I just have a natural tendency to not want to spend money. But as far as tracking things, I do try to track all of my income and my expenses on like an income statement, and then also I do a balance sheet at the end of every month. I recently started categorizing my expenses, and also I kind of track how much increase and decrease each of my asset categories and liability categories have grown over the course of the year, and I also track my savings rate. I had like almost no money in the bank account. I had like $40. That was like in 2017. I just decided that I was never going to have less than $100 in my bank account ever again in my life. I just started buying stocks, and I just started researching companies and trying to figure out what I need to do to make intelligent investments. Eventually I learned about a Roth IRA, And basically the Roth IRA was another thing that I started putting money into. I mean, it seemed like a wonderful deal. I love making tax-free money, so I decided just to put money in there. When I was in 8th grade, I was diagnosed with a heart condition that was potentially deadly. And the doctor said that if you exercise real hard, you could die at any moment. So I continued exercising hard, I continued living my life the way that I wanted to live my life. I never really thought that I would make it past high school because, in 8th grade, they told me that I could die at any moment. After that situation happened and I actually got to the point where I was graduating high school, I was kind of like in shock because I never really thought about what I wanted to do after high school. So I kind of just went into college like with just empty-handed, not really thinking about what I had wanted to do throughout high school. I kind of went undecided. I decided to go with Spanish because I could graduate in like 2 semesters. But I didn't feel like Spanish was really what was going to help me get to where I was going in life, and it just didn't seem like that would be a very good return on investment. I saw the student loan hit $30,000, and at that point I realized I need to sit back and really think about what I want out of life, what I want to achieve, and what direction I want to go before I stack up another $30,000, $40,000 in student loan debt. I may go back to college. I know Uber has this program, if you hit 3,000 rides, they might pay for online college for you. So I want to see if that's real or legit and see what's going on with that. And if they do that, I might go back and try to get an accounting degree. But other than that, I'm not 100% sure. It's very costly, and I feel very confident in myself that I can build a good amount of wealth with or without a degree. I figured the interest rate was 3.75%. I could almost guarantee, based off my calculations, to get a higher return on investment than 3.75%, either with Uber and Lyft or some other endeavor. I plan to stop driving for Uber and Lyft as soon as I possibly can. I want to move on to something that is probably a little bit more lucrative and that makes a little bit more money. I would like to actually get into software engineering and also maybe at somewhere down the line get an accounting degree perhaps and work in that field as well. I want to have enough investment income to cover my monthly expenses, plus be able to save 50% of my income thereafter. But another big investment goal is I want to buy my first piece of real estate. Right now, I pretty much have everything that I could want and enjoy in life. I have a family and friends that I enjoy and that I care about. So I really can't have much to complain. The only thing I don't have is just financial freedom completely, like investment income enough to cover my expenses and, or passive income enough to cover my expenses. And that's only really my next goal, is just to have enough passive income. But everything else in life I pretty much already have. The only thing that income could do is help me reach that goal a little bit faster. Right about now, I am thanking myself every single day for that decision that I made, to sleep on that couch, to eat once a day, to live that lifestyle, so I don't have to live that lifestyle ever again.